Somehow I managed to miss that Speak by Lori Hall Sanderson has been challenged again, this time in Florida. Before I talk about the article, which I linked to in the description, I want to give mad props to the school district in which this is happening. The school reviewed the book and decided to keep it. The challenge is now at the district level, and the director of the committee that will be making the decision about whether or not this book actually stays in the curriculum is tracking down other members and asking them to read it before the discussions begin. That is how the system is supposed to work, folks. Let me be clear, I am not mad because the book was challenged. I find that to be annoying, and before you start yelling at me for that, I promise to talk about my position on challenging books on another day. What makes me mad is that a book dealing with the emotional aftermath of rape, as Anderson puts it, has been, once again, dubbed pornography. Okay, caveat time. I'm not going to talk about what Speak means to me or my opinion of Lori Hall Sanderson as a writer. I am not entering this discussion to argue about morals or whether or not the book should or should not be taught. That is not part of my thesis for this video. I will also neither engage in ad hominem nor will I attempt to discern whether or not the article's author has read the book. Before writing this video, I reread the book. This is probably the most difficult video I've ever done, and we are going to run longer than 4 minutes today, and I'm not sorry for it. The title of the article in question is Poll, Florida Middle School Students Reading Child Pornography, with the subtitle, Principal Finds Child Porn Age Appropriate. What I wonder is how the author came to the assertion that it's pornography, as in the second paragraph of the article, he states that the parents challenging the inclusion of this book in the curriculum of a class of 8th grade gifted students take issue with the language. So while this doesn't support or refute my thesis, how did the author get from language, which he does address, to, including page numbers, though out of context, to pornography? I think that Chris Crusher's conversation with Jennifer Bueller in the Text Messages podcast responds to the issue of language in YA eloquently and better than I can. There's a link to that conversation in the description. I am just going to address the issue of pornography. In the article, Speak is called Child Pornography 4 times. 2 of those 4 times, instead of using the title, Speak is called The Child Pornography Book. But outside this heavy choice of words, there's no evidence in the article to suggest that Speak is in fact pornography. So I'm going to offer evidence against it now. To begin, let's look at pornography. No, that came out wrong. According to the Longman Dictionary of Contemporary English, pornography is text that shows sexual acts and images in such a way that people feel sexually excited. The Merriam-Webster and Oxford English dictionaries said basically the same thing, though using different words. The key part of the definition is the bit about the intent to stimulate sexual excitement. Now, I went through the text, and I marked anything remotely sexual in nature. Let's go through that list and play a game I'm going to call Porn, Not Porn. I will keep a running tally, as well as the definition of pornography from the Oxford English Dictionary on the screen behind me so that we can refer back to it. The first scene with any sex in it, when Melinda is raped, occurs before the beginning of the book. There is no text describing that heinous act, and no images in the text at all. It's not a picture book. So this piece of evidence does not prove that Speak is pornography. So 1 point for me in the not porn column. Okay, page 18. Melinda is bemoaning in gym class. Because her locker is so close to the door, she's got to change clothes in the bathroom stall. No text or images intended to arouse just yet. There is a comment about a girl who Melinda knows, Nicole, how she changes bras without embarrassment. The only line that one could possibly question is about Nicole changing and being part of the soccer team. She never blushes or turns around to hide herself, just changes her clothes. Must be a jock thing. If you're that strong, you don't care if people make comments about your boobs or rear end. I'm sure a case could be made with the word boobs once in a paragraph, with no image invoking rich language, however, not intended to stimulate sexual excitement. Another point in the not porn column. Round 3 of Porn Not Porn, page 29 for those of you who are following along, on cheerleaders at a pep rally. This is our context. Melinda's comments here offer commentary on her stereotypical perception of cheerleaders as a collective. She says, I think the Merriweather cheerleaders confused me because I missed out on Sunday school. It has to be a miracle. There is no other explanation. How else could they sleep with the football team on Saturday night and be reincarnated as virginal goddesses on Monday? It's as if they operate in two realities simultaneously. And it continues on there. The phrases sleep with the football team, virginal goddesses, and we didn't get this far, but group rate abortions, which was evidenced in the article, do not tell us explicitly about the sex lives of the cheerleaders. Again, refer back to my comment about stereotypical perception of cheerleaders. There are no details about what they do with the football team, nor is there any erotic language whatsoever. Given our definition of pornography, not porn. Next round, page 65, second paragraph, biology class is our context. The back row sleeps until she points out that apple trees need bees to reproduce. Reproduce is a trigger word for the back row. They have figured out it is related to sex. The lecture on pistils and stamens turns into a big ha-ha. Ms. Keene has been teaching since the Middle Ages. It would take more than a row full of overheated hypothalamuses, hypothalami, to distract her from the day's lesson. La la la. Okay, so the guys in the back room of the classroom pay attention because they make jokes about pistils and stamens. Texts or images with the intent to arouse. Survey says... Yeah. I think we're on round 5. Round 5 now, page 83. If I can get there. Page 83, context. Melinda's friend Heather is at a photo shoot for swimwear. The photo shoot is in a building cold enough to store ice. Heather looks like our Thanksgiving turkey wearing a blue bikini. Her goosebumps are bigger than her boobs. I'm shivering, etc. The photographer keeps saying, sexy, sexy, I'm not a photographer. Very cute, look this way, sexy, think beach, think boys, it creeps me out. There we have the word boobs again, and the word bikini, and sexy 3 times, but still, no description of Heather in her bathing suit outside that apparently she has incredibly small boobs given that her goosebumps are bigger than them. Text or image with the intent to arouse. Once again, survey says... Yeah. Continuing on to page 90. This is the middle of a chapter that takes place during lunch. Let's see if we get any graphic sex during lunch. No. To provide more context, Heather is sitting with the Marthas in their club of sorts, and Melinda is sitting next to Heather. Andy Evans, who is the antagonist, walks into the cafeteria. Emily, one of the Marthas, says that he is gorgeous, rich, and that he called her, and she calls these things facts. One of the other Marthas says, rumor, he sleeps with anything. It's on page 90. No language there to call up specific erotic images. The boy plays with Melinda's ponytail, which is nausea-inducing for her, and she runs out of the cafeteria and vomits. No language that is sexual in nature. So, one more point in the not porn column. I don't remember what round we're on now, but we are up to page 118. That's 135. 118. Get there. There we go. Art class. Context. Melinda is stuck on her semester art project. Her teacher refers her to Picasso for some inspiration. She opens the book and says, Picasso sure had a thing for naked women. Why not draw them with the clothes on? Who sits around without a shirt on plucking a mandolin? Why not draw naked guys, just to be fair? Naked women is art. Naked guys, a no-no, I bet. Probably because most painters are men. Now, her overlooking of popular Greek art aside, the word naked is used 4 times, but no description of that nakedness, not even of the art itself, is present in the text. Therefore, not porn. Last example, 134, 136. Context. This is the party that occurred before the beginning of the book. This is during the 3rd grading period in the timeline of the book. So she is remembering what has happened. Melinda has imbibed alcohol, and because of it, her ability to communicate is impaired. We were on the ground. When did that happen? No, I did not like this. I was on the ground, and he was on top of me. My lips mumble something about leaving, about a friend who needs me, about my parents worrying. I can hear myself. I'm mumbling like a deranged drunk. His lips lock onto mine and I can't say anything. I twist my head away. He's so heavy, there is a boulder on me. I open my mouth to breathe, to scream, and his hand covers it. In my head, my voice is as clear as a bell. No, I don't want to, but I can't spit it out. I'm trying to remember how we got on the ground and where the moon went, and wham, shirt up, shorts down, and the ground smells wet and dark, and no, I'm not really here. I'm definitely back at Rachel's, crimping my hair and gluing on fake nails, and he smells like beer and mean, and he hurts me, and gets up. And zips his jeans and smiles. I suffer you to tell me what is erotic, where the intent to arouse is in that paragraph. Shirt up, shorts down offers no sexual language, neither does he hurts me, and gets up. So you don't think that I am shirking my responsibilities or leaving information out. There is one more scene that we could talk about, but it doesn't compare to the one that I just talked about, so I'm going to stop now if you don't mind. If you want to take a look, it is pages 191 to 195, and I would be happy to talk to you about it in the comments. As to calling Speak pornography, I think the score speaks for itself. If you believe that there's evidence that I've missed that will tip the scales from one side to the other, or you have thoughts about what I've talked about today, feel free to leave those in the comments. However, I do have an expectation. I have provided context, direct quotation, and how those quotations in context, relate to the dictionary definition of pornography. I welcome opposing discourse that does the same. Thank you for watching. I am the supplier wishing you happy reading.